Hey, welcome back to No Hype Beer Reviews. Unless it's your first time, then welcome. Please consider subscribing. If you do, hit that notification bell, get all the updates. Really excited for today's video. It's a kind of a local brewery to me, which is always cool. I'm going to talk a little bit about some stuff, so if you just want the review, I would definitely fast forward. Some people don't know that you can do that if you don't want to watch me talk, and you can just fast forward to when I'm drinking to hear about what my thoughts are, or at least when I open the beer. So I think Prison City is a phenomenal brewery, and they're relatively close to where my dad's cottage is, and I only ever go there during the summer. And so sometimes I do try to stop in and get some stuff when I can. But anyway, the reason I want to talk for a sec is I have the proper glassware. I've said this in other beer reviews before. My friend Rick passed away a few years ago, and we worked together, so I had seen him after this happened. But the last fun thing we did is we went to Prison City. We actually went to my dad's cottage, a few of us, and the last week of summer, and then I went to Prison City, and he bought this glass, and then we went home, went to work for 2 months, and then he passed. So I reached out to his wife, and I was like, hey, he bought this glass at this brewery. It was the last time we were together outside of work and having some fun, and do you mind if I have it? And she was kind enough to let me have the glass. So it's probably also one of the reasons I don't review more Prison City beers, besides we do get some. I bought this 5 minutes from my house. We do get some, but then it kind of drudges up some of those memories too. So this one's to Rick. So yeah, this beer, I actually bought a 4-pack, and like I said, it was very close to me. And this is the fourth one. So I've had this beer. I really like this beer. I wasn't even planning on reviewing it. But I was like, this is just such a good beer. I feel like I should. So that's why I'm reviewing it. As I've said several times, this is Prison City. This is Riot in Maine. They do a series where they kind of they have a mass one. I think they kind of try to mimic, pay homage, whatever term you want to use. Treehouse and Trillium. They have a Vermont one. It's in that nebula of things like Alchemist and Lawson's, and so I assume by this one they're trying to go like Bissell Brothers. And I haven't had anything from them in a while, so I can't really weigh in on that if I'm being honest. I'm not an expert on that. It's an Imperial/Double IPA. I think it's kind of interesting they put Imperial/Double, and it's 8% ABV. It's almost exactly a month old at time of review. Our New England tour continues. Citra, Mosaic, and Simcoe hops pair nicely against an English malt backbone. Let's get into it. Just clip my nails. A little harder to open those cans when you just freshly clipped them. I am super curious if anyone's had this and they're a little bit more up on Bissell than I am. What you think about that. Hey, look, clean glassware, beautiful with the logo facing forward. Yeah, it's a little. It's definitely in the realm of these hazy New England style IPAs, double IPAs I've had in the last however many years of my life. It seems a hair lighter, but it's got that burnt orange. It's got yellow. It's not as full hazy, which I think is true actually of Bissell. And sorry, I didn't do that. A finger ahead. Small bubbles, tiny bubbles. It's a little soapy, but not quite where I'd say oh yeah, it's sudsy. But yeah, definitely a beautiful looking beer. It looks juicy and all that. Let's get into the aroma, or like juice. Let's get into the aroma. One of the reasons I decided to actually review this beer is I've been going back and forth on Mosaic a lot lately, and more often than not, I seem to not pick up the berry thing that I used to get a lot. And put it on the palate, there is this berry note that is it's really lovely. It's not dominating, but it's definitely there. It's unmistakably there, but it kind of reminds me of not eating the fruit or having the juice of the fruit, but it's softer if you infused it just with water, and then after a while of it infusing, you drank the liquid, right? And you're just oh yeah, it does have that, that essence is probably the right word. So I definitely get a little bit of that in the aroma. There's orange, juice and peel, that zest thing. I get mango. And I hate to say harshness from the Simcoe, but when you smell this beer and taste it, again, I've had 3 at this point, you do get that Simcoe. I know some people make fun of it, like the cat pee smell or whatever. Like, although I don't think this is quite cat pee, but like that wild garlic, green oniony kind of a thing. And it's also not screaming that too much, but it does have that other thing that's part of the Simcoe experience. And I think what's left is a little bit of, for lack of a better word, this abrasiveness, this harshness. Funny that I mentioned it doesn't really have that cat pee, and I'm getting a little bit of it. It's weird to end on cat pee and then to say the following: it smells delicious. It does smell really good. Let's get into the taste. Cheers. Yeah, it's just it's just a good beer. It's so well constructed. You get a little bit of sweetness, and you get hit with the bitterness, and then like the sweetness comes back, which is cool. Totally has that berry thing, and again, it's like the essence of berries. Big mango. You do get that citrus, orange specifically. I'm glad I mentioned the juice and the zest, the peel, because it is both those things also in the taste. That. Part of the sip, and then even interestingly, part of the aftertaste is this candied orange peel as well. So there are moments of relative, for the style how much bitterness is in this, there are moments of relative sweetness, or like bursts of sweetness, but then it is still mixed with something like the zestiness of an orange peel. And like, as I'm talking now, it's really close to, like, if you bit into an orange, it's because you want to start peeling it, so you got those essential oils released into your mouth, and like maybe like 3-4 minutes have gone by. It's like that level with a little bit of sweetness to cut through. Interestingly, as I mentioned, the sweetness, it is somewhat dry, so it is inviting that next sip in a very pleasant way. It hits on a lot of cylinders. It's I've said this before in other reviews, like, beers like this can be almost always, for me, delicious to drink and not the most fun to review, because you do feel like you're painting by numbers sometimes. This has elements of that, as all these of this great in any style. Like, they should hit certain notes if they're of a style. That's a whole other conversation we can have another time, but hopefully they're doing some either things really well or there's a uniqueness to it. I don't know how much uniqueness, other than that mosaic berry thing that I am getting, as it's just done really well. The notes are painted beautifully. If that doesn't, no. The notes are played beautifully. The paint by numbers have been painted beautifully. Has that nice mouthfeel. That tropical from the mango is super nice. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's a delicious beer. I like the Imperial / Double, because when I think Imperial IPA, I think that it maintains a lot of the bitterness a Pale Ale and IPA can have. And Double IPA makes me think of bigger and sweeter. And this has those elements, and it is kind of like, this would be a cool beer to have with a few people and kind of discuss the merits. Yeah, is this more how you envision a double or an Imperial in the way I do it, or envision those two things? There is a lot of overlap. There is. And you might even just be splitting hairs, right? This, I think, does have elements, at least the way I define those two styles, because it does have that oomph of IPA bitterness maintaining. But like I was saying before, there are these awesome peaks of true sweetness, true juiciness. It just makes for really, it's not a one-note experience. You know, it's not just straight juice. It's not just straight like palate fatigue, bitterness or something. Yeah, it's just a great beer. Less review, more love letter, I suppose. Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. Have you had this beer before? Have you had Bissell lately, and can weigh in on what you get from them? Maybe something like a Substance or whatever. But yeah, thanks again for watching. Check me out on Instagram and Untappd. It's No Hype Beer Reviews at both of those places. So always please like, comment, subscribe, and most importantly, imbibe. Cheers, everyone.